Good morning, this is Diana of Be4STEM, and I'm here with you today to introduce my latest lesson called Investigating Magnetism. This lesson is available on my website Be4STEMinc, and is also available on Teacher Pay Teacher. The kit that comes with the lesson includes the full detailed lesson plan with all the instructions I'm just going to highlight today, along with extensions and links to research background, so you can apply this simple experiment for early learners to current research that's actually going on. The kit that includes this base, it holds 12 test tubes, and I'm using 5 test tubes today. Each test tube contains the same small items that will fit into the test tube, and then they can be investigated before you begin, like a sensory bottle. Some of them are magnetic and some are not. So students can use the magnifier to investigate them for color, shape, and what they think might be the texture without even taking them out. Make some predictions of which ones may be magnetic. And then, of course, use the magnetic wand. Before we add any liquids, it's kind of easy to find out which of these are magnetic and which are not. So it works exactly like a very small sensory bottle. These are actual tools used by the scientist, and this lesson is designed, as are all the lessons on Be4STEM, to introduce early learners to science, technology, engineering, and math concepts all in one lesson together. So we would start by saying, how would we solve a certain problem? Like, how would we pull dangerous cells in the body to a certain place with equipment the scientists and technologists can develop? And it would be with magnetic particles. Nanoparticles can be magnetic and pull harmful particles in cells to the surface, to one particular place where the doctors could treat them. So that would be one application of this lesson. We also have forceps, 2 different kinds of forceps. These work like robotic arms, so the students could practice moving them about, and as though they were using a piece of robotic equipment. And then we also have, along with the test tubes, we also have pipettes, which we can use to measure by the drop, or they're actually graduated in milliliters. The test tubes are graduated up to 15 milliliters. And tiny spoons can move small particles of what you might want to add to each of the tubes. What I'm using in each of these tubes are varying amounts. In test tube 2, we will have nothing else except the items and add water. But in test tubes 3, 4, and 5, we'll have varying amounts of polyacrylate. Small, medium, and larger, but still only up unto 1/100th of a milliliter, of a millimeter. And when we add water, a milliliter. So these will be able to experiment. Students on their end, we're going to use colored water in a small container to make it easy for them to use the pipettes. We'll start with a very small amount. Have them predict with the small or the medium-sized pipette how many drops of water you think it would take to fill 15 milliliter test tube. And then you'll add the water and to each test tube and watch what happens, counting by drops or counting by parts of milliliter each time. When you finish, you'll actually have, in the test tubes with the polyacrylate, you'll have the items floating in varying amounts based on how much you use. Then the students can shake them, like with the sensory bottle, and again, test for magnetism to see if it varies. And what makes it vary would be the different amount of polyacrylate. You used only a tiny amount, but in the heaviest one, they seem almost suspended, which is another term you can teach them. Based on this lesson, the students would be able to experiment with tools of the scientist, investigate properties, measure in milliliters, and practice drop by drop by drop, or amount, and practice using robotic arms. So there are many applications. Find them all in my lesson kit, and thank you.